Hey guys, it's Ryan here with HobbiesofaMan. Once again, and today we're doing another ThunderCats review. Today we're looking at issue number 11 by Declan Shalvey, Drew Moss, with art by Lucio Perea on the cover, I think. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure it's Lucio Perea. And this is a pretty good issue. It's titled Alone. There's no changes to the art team since I mentioned the same two names that I mention every time. And this one's pretty good. It opens up with Tigra finishing up the dismantling of their ship, right? Because after the ship crash landed, they decided they were going to use it in order to create their ThunderCat base on Third Earth, and he's finishing up the disassembly, especially after the battle with these mutant characters in the previous issues, right? And so he's finishing that up. He is joined by Chitara at this point, and they share their feelings for each other, which it's a bit redundant if you're someone that's been following all of the ThunderCats stuff that they've been releasing, because the end of the ThunderCats Chitara series starts with, or finishes with, Chitara and Tigra kind of getting together properly, you know, consummating their relationship. And technically up to this point in the main series, they really haven't done too much with each other, but this kind of just affirms that and returns us to the status quo, which is that Chitara and Tigra have some sort of relationship. And so I think it ends up being a bit redundant for the vast majority of readers, but I guess there are a certain type of newer reader or people that are not really invested in the ThunderCats universe that need this to happen for them to understand exactly where their relationship lies. And I guess that's the point there. But I feel like if you've been someone that's following the comic book and the spin-offs, this feels a bit unnecessary, if that makes sense. And so as they're sharing their feelings with each other, the question of where Lion-O is also comes up at the point in their conversation, but it kind of gets ignored as they get closer and then kiss. And then we transition out of that scene to see that Panthro and the kids, Wily Cat and Wily Kit, have seen this happen, and Panthro's telling the kids, hey, leave them alone, don't try to go distract them, let's go somewhere else. Then we finally transition over to Lion-O. We see these eyes in the sky. They're technically two different moons. I think there's a small red one and a big blue one, and that's kind of like how Mumra's face kind of looks. And we see that Lion-O is in those Darklands, going towards that pyramid that he heard of from the Wily kids, right? And he kind of goes there, and he senses that he's followed. He turns around, and it turns out that Snarf was following him. And Lion-O gets mad at Snarf at this point. He's like, hey man, if you continuously treat me like a child, I can't grow up and I can't be an adult. Can you please leave me alone? Stay here. I don't want you following me anymore. And Snarf listens, even though he probably shouldn't have. And he sits there and stays and watches Lion-O walk away. He roams down into these lands, and he ends up walking into that mountain pyramid thing. And it turns out that at the entrance of it, there is this graveyard of these bones of different groups. And it seems like they're mostly ThunderCats or, Thunderans, because they all have like cat faces, right? They all have like that basic, like elongated and sharp-toothed kind of face that I feel like is very reminiscent of like lion or cat or tiger head shapes, right? He enters, and inside is Mumra. And they have this big battle. It turns out that Mumra is the dark. He's not just part of it in some way, or he doesn't just use it. He is the darkness, or that's what he says, right? And only his power matters in this area, in this place, in these Darklands within the pyramid, right? And Lion-O was stupid to try to beat him in this moment. And Lion-O gets caught. He breaks free. He manages to cut Mumra's eye. And then as this happens, we see that a ship emerges over the planet. But I'm not really sure what this is exactly, because I don't think this has to do with Mumra, although it kind of does, because this ship arriving leads to Mumra kind of running away and then doing something, some sort of ritual or something, and the pyramid raises, very Stargate-esque, right? And it turns out that Mumra uses the same enchantment or spell that Apex used in the Apex one-shot to turn into Mumra the Ever-Living, right? And he buffs up and he looks really cool and badass and stuff. And he manages to beat Lion-O, and then there's darkness, the pyramid, these pillars of light, and then Snarf disappears. And I think Snarf actually opened one of those weird little like white doorways that we saw earlier in the story, and that's how he disappears. He sees that things went badly, and he goes somewhere, but I'm not really sure where that is, right? And so it seems like Lion-O is trapped by Mumra, and well, no one knows where he is. So this is a very concerning moment in the story, and it also means that this is kind of a learning opportunity for Lion-O, where yes, you have the body of an adult, but you don't have the mind of an adult yet, which I guess is a bit annoying because that's kind of really the same idea as before, although maybe in reverse, right? Where earlier it's like, okay, Lion-O, you're still a child, you have the body of an adult, will allow you to develop yourself a little bit, right? That's what Chitara and him fighting or sparring was about. And then after the battle with the mutants, they kind of return to the same holding pattern, and then this is now creating another issue for Lion-O again. Now here, where he's trying to prove himself, and Snarf allows him to, and this leads to a negative, right? And I'm curious to see how this is going to, fix itself. I'm sure that the ThunderCats are going to storm the castle to try to save him, but how is really the question here. So yeah, those are my thoughts on ThunderCats number 11. It was pretty great. I did enjoy myself quite a lot. I think that the story is finally kind of catching its stride properly in a way, because there's a lot of setup that's been done, and it can finally start getting somewhere, right? We know all of the characters, we understand them all, and there really is nothing or nowhere to go but up now, right? So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys later.